You're watching Moms Matter on EverTalk TV, where we try and bring you inspirational stories to change your life. Amerly Lago is one of those stories. As a wife, personal trainer, and mother, she was living the California dream until one day in May 2010, while riding her Harley, she got hit with an SUV. And 34 surgeries later, she's sitting here right now with me at EverTalk Studios, and I feel so honored to have you in my presence.
Oh, thank you. I was so excited when I got to see you this morning. Thanks for having me on.
My absolute pleasure. You're a warrior mom. I mean, you're a miracle story. And I want to know what your first reaction was when you were in the hospital and the doctors told you that you had a 1% chance of preserving your leg.
Honestly, when they told me that, I thought, so there's still a chance. There's still a chance. And it was never a thought I thought, I'm going to save my leg. This is my leg. And I think it's because my whole life I've been active. I was a professional dancer and athlete and personal fitness trainer. And my whole livelihood, my outlet was running. Everything was about fitness. And so I just thought, well, I have to keep it. I have to do everything that I can. And so in my mind, I had already saved it. And it was just getting through every day, every surgery, on to the next, and doing everything I could to stay strong mentally and physically.
Wow. You have this incredible book that you've written over here. It's True Grit and Grace, where in your book and your TED Talks, you talk about resilience and your journey and how resilience has really been the key to your success. But how did you tap into your resilience?
Well, we all have resilience and we all have the ability to tap into it. I have something that I use, I came up with, it's called PACER, and it's an acronym that I use, and it helps me really look at what I'm doing throughout the day to make sure I'm staying the strongest no matter what life throws my way. Because I feel like we all have trauma, whether it's a bad day, we lost our job, there's a death, we got sick, something that happens. But if we arm ourselves with the right tools, we can get through that. And PACER stands for perspective, acceptance, community, endurance, and rest. And as long as we are doing all those things, we can have the ability to tap into that resilience and thrive.
Wow. And you feel like you live your life with this PACER method. You really check in and you...
Oh my gosh, I do. And the crazy thing is now that if I'm not, my husband will call me out on it. He's like, where's the R? You're leaving out the R for rest. You're not resting. And so, and also when I was, we were going through the fires here in California a year ago, and I was on my way to give a presentation, and I was so full of anxiety, and we were about to be evacuated, and here I wasn't even home. And one of my girlfriends messaged me and said, how are you doing? I was like, I'm freaking out. And she texted me one word back, and she texted me PACER. And I was able to look at my perspective and count my blessings and shift my perspective and accept where I was at the moment. And I think that community is a huge part of PACER because I really don't feel like we're meant to do it alone.
Absolutely not.
No, especially as moms. I think we all do better when we can come together and share our resources and support one another. And that's something I kind of had to learn because I was very stubborn and thought, oh, I got this. And, Texas, I grew up with get her done and cowgirl up, and you don't show that, your vulnerability. But what I've learned that sharing my most vulnerable moments has really led me to a community of people where we have a strong bond and we've got each other's backs. And so it helps, especially when you're dealing with any kind of pain, to know that you're not alone, that you can do it together.
That's so important. It really takes a village. And when I think about your journey and I think about as a mother, I would have fallen apart personally. What was the most challenging part of your journey when this all hit you as a mother?
Well, as a mom, I think a lot of what pulled me through, it was my children. There were days I had a hospital bed in the living room because I couldn't go upstairs. I was completely bedridden. I couldn't even stand up on my own, use the bathroom on my own. I could not do anything except for sit up. And there were mornings when I was in so much pain, I thought, I don't know if I can do this. How am I going to get through this? And my youngest daughter was 2 years old at the time, and I would hear her say, "Mama," from upstairs, and I would pop up. I said, I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to show my girls what it is to have resilience and what it is to have grit. And by the grace of God, I was better every day and every day. And so I think my kids have really been the thing that pulled me through when I struggled at the most.
You're incredible. I'm teary-eyed. You really, you're such an inspiration, I think, for all of us with whatever type of, tragedy we've had in our lives. Your story and what you've overcome and how you're sitting here with me, and you're so beautiful, and no one would ever know the pain that you suffer every single day.
Oh, thank you. That's my biggest challenge now, and that is what led me to really share the tools for resilience, because for me, it wasn't, okay, I had this motorcycle accident and I had 34 surgeries and I saved my leg. Well, the pain is so bad that I actually went to the doctor about a year after the accident, and I was like, we need to just cut it off.
Wow.
And he was like, what? And I said, yeah, it gives me too much pain. I said, I have a nerve disease called complex regional pain syndrome. And so it's where your nervous system is all out of whack and you feel pain constantly. It's ranked highest on the pain scale. And so I was not in acceptance of that. I did not want to accept that I had it. I didn't want to tell anybody about it. I didn't want to show not only my scars, I didn't want to admit that I was in pain, because I felt it made me feel like I was weak or less than or not worthy.
Sure.
And so it wasn't until I really was in acceptance for, this is it. This is the rest of my life, and I have got to come up with some kind of tools to have the life of joy that I want, because I was at such a low place. I went from having this big world to suddenly my world was smaller and smaller, and I was isolating. It was hard just to pick up the phone. And that is one thing that I really encourage anybody who's struggling is to, I know it's so hard, but just to reach out to one person. And if they don't respond or don't get back to you, reach out to another person. Because the first person that I reached out to, they're like, yeah, I'm going to help you. And they didn't. And so you have to be willing to help yourself and then willing to reach out your hand and ask for help. And that was a big lesson that I had to learn,
That's a huge lesson for moms, all the moms watching out there, to know that, we can't do this by ourselves.
And we shouldn't have to. And it's okay that I felt like, I've got to do everything. I've got to be the breadwinner. I've got to raise the kids. I've got to show up at the PTA meetings. And we do so much as moms. I think that sometimes we need to give ourselves the gift of grace and know when we can just take a breath, ask for help, and sometimes even say no to things, which was something that I had to learn as well.
Wow. Well, I have learned so much just sitting here with you. You are an abundance of gratitude and love and empathy, and you just bring such a beautiful radiance about you into a room. And thank you for sharing your story and being here with us. And I hope that you continue to spread your love through the world, because you're a very powerful woman. And ladies out there, pick up a copy, read it. Community, community, community. That's what I was hearing today. Amerly Lago, you're an incredible woman, and you saw it right here on Ever Talk TV, and we'll see you all next time.